Welcome to our show. We've got a really talented performer from here in the East Kootenay who's going to play all of these instruments, so stick around.
Hidden billows of smoke rise, the town sleeping below. Oh, North Star's on fire, flames light the sky. Heartbeat on the town flickers out. Sun's rising up in this mountain town. 600 volts are humming through the ground. I got the first tracks of the day. I'll tell you what, it was worth the wait. 'Cause North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. It's a bluebird day.
Hello everybody, Jamie Neave here from the Fisher Peak Performing Artists Society. A new special show called For the Record. We're here talking to a very special guest who has been performing and writing and working on her performance and music for many years. She's just one heck of a gal. And we're in Kimberley, BC, in a really unique studio, and looking forward to hearing all about the music of Heather Gemmell.
Hey Jamie, how's it going?
Very good, thank you. You know, it's a real pleasure because I've followed your career for quite a while. Obviously, we go back a ways.
We do.
And, you know, so that's probably where I would start when we have this conversation. I know that we're going to look at, you know, some of the history of your musical experience, your songwriting, and in particular, your live performances where you have a very special rig that you're planning to, you know, showcase to people.
Yeah.
And a lot of interesting equipment and the way in which you've kind of integrated that all into your music. So why don't we start off by talking about the very sort of beginnings of your musical career.
Yeah, well, started off singer-songwriter, just acoustic guitar, and learning songs. I think the YouTube wasn't out yet, so it was, but Ultimate Guitar Tabs was, and I was really inspired by some guys in my high school. A select few would bring their guitars to school and would just jam with each other, like at lunch and during break and stuff like that, and I was just so intrigued by that. So it was just pure jealousy that got me off the ball going and playing guitar. Right. So I would bring my guitar to school once I started learning a few chords and took it from there. So
William Aberhart, is that the school?
No, actually that was later in life. I was big into softball back in the day, and moved to Alberta to play ball in my last year of high school. Right. This was in Mount Baker. I got the bug for learning how to play guitar, and then it just kind of like went from there. I was playing. I went to college and was playing a little bit there, and got inspired by some other artists there, and really wanted to zero in on it when I got home from school, and just kind of blossomed with different instruments from there.
Well, the first time I heard you play, I think, was out at Mayook.
Oh yeah.
At one of the events out there during the summer.
Yeah.
It was lots of fun, and you were playing guitar and singing some songs that you had written.
Yeah.
And a few others, and jamming with people.
So
and
much
it was
fun,
you could see the seeds right at the beginning there, you know, something that I think is going to turn into a great career for you. And of course, along those lines, you actually have produced 3 albums.
Yeah.
Right? And where did that start?
Well, I started writing fairly quickly in the whole musician game, and I was approached by a fellow that ran his own company, mixing and mastering and recording people, and he took a song that I wrote, and I think I put it on the internet, and he added a whole bunch of stuff to it. He's like, "Hey Heather, you want to work together?" And that's kind of where the road started, and then we
so that's
this is the first one,
this
the
is
Jewel
the first
Case.
This is the first album here called The Road. Yeah. And there were some good cuts on there, some really interesting songs.
Yeah.
And so moving on from there, I remember that you had worked on a second album as well, and that was led to a big performance that you had at Key City Theatre.
That's right. That was
with
super
other
fun.
groups,
Yeah.
right? And that was your Black Queen days.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Black Queen days?
Yeah. So after this album came out, I needed a band. So I kind of formed a band with Ray Garreau and Paul Bouchard at the time. rest his soul, and then started playing way more rock and roll, and because that was kind of where I was leaning, but I was just kind of a girl with a guitar back then, playing I think electric guitar
Black
solo.
Stratocaster,
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it was.
So
yeah.
anyway, and then we formed a band, and then pumped out original music and some covers and stuff, and played in bars and things like that, and playing those songs, and then that went on to Peaks and Valleys, and met Brian Knorr, and he was a huge part of it. And you produced this album in your studio.
Well, we helped a little.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
That was really fun. It was
Fun days.
It was one of the early times for me as well. And I think that's sort of where it sounds to me like, as well, you started to kind of grow out of that rock and roll into other genres as well.
That's right. Yeah, so all these transitions. Yeah,
Because there were a few songs that were kind of, not to say that they didn't belong in the record, but
Yeah.
they were
Genre
different.
bending, yeah,
they
totally.
they were different than some of the more up-tempo rock style.
yeah.
Anyway, so you moved from, I guess, playing a lot of electric guitar to then into other instruments.
Yeah,
right?
when I moved to Kimberley, and before that, there was a whole bunch of buddies of mine that would go to this camp, this week-long music camp called Nimble Fingers Old Time and Bluegrass Workshop. It was like Disneyland for musicians. And I'm like, well, I don't play bluegrass. I wonder what instrument should I learn that I can maybe put into my own stuff too. And so I heard Keith Larson play the dobro at the Marysville pub with Elena Young in a bluegrass ensemble. I'm like, wow, that's so cool, that slide guitar. I've always loved the sound of slide guitar. And so I picked the dobro and borrowed a guitar my first year, Brian Knorr's National Steel, actually. And yeah, and then so started learning the dobro, and then that later translated to like picking up the lap steel and keeping it in the same tuning, because I was dabbling with tunings. And
Right, so you actually have your lap steel here today.
I do, yeah.
Right, and that's part of one of the things that we're hoping to hear from you.
Yeah, there's years where I was just kind of playing. I would always play along with people with the dobro. It's an accompanying instrument. You don't generally see it like on its own, so it accompanies. So, and then to a point I was like, man, I never play my lap. Whenever it comes to my turn in a jam, I would always say pass, and I was sick of saying pass. I'm like, I should learn some songs start to finish with the dobro, and then it just didn't sound quite right until I got the lap steel, and I was playing with alderbash at the time, and the dobro just feeds back like crazy. The cone in it just feeds back in live settings. So I got the lap steel, cranked some distortion, no feedback, super fun. And along the way, I learned the banjo while I was going to this bluegrass camp. I think I went about 6 times. It's awesome.
So you, when you picked up the banjo,
Yeah.
was it a clawhammer style or other style?
Well, the first time I was like, man, I should play banjo too, because the G tuning of the dobro, and generally G is the tuning of like a standard banjo tuning. I'm like, I play with finger picks. I should play bluegrass banjo. I tried, and it just didn't flow for me. I find that the clawhammer lended itself to being able to sing along with it better. And so then Annie Heffer was playing clawhammer, and she was playing in this double C tuning. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. Like, it can sound really spooky and sound really pretty in just with the different ways you play it. So I hopped onto the clawhammer double C tuning train, and I haven't been able to put it down since. I love clawhammer guitar, or clawhammer banjo and clawhammer guitar.
Okay.
You can play clawhammer guitar too a little bit.
That style. Okay.
Yeah, with the always downward strokes. Right. Yeah, and the droning top string. So yeah,
So that leads us a little bit into this next album here, which is the One Light Town album, and the diversity it really shows, but it also shows a real personal side of you.
Yeah.
That I was so fascinated to hear some of the songs, particularly when you added ideas about One Light Town and the small town in the mountains, which is sort of everybody's nirvana for the people who come and live here. Totally. You know, they love being here, and your music really seems to me to really reflect a lot of what's going on. And maybe you could tell us a little bit about the album, and in particular, maybe about how winter sports and skiing and what happened at North Star, and how that played into your
totally.
work.
This one's definitely more of a concept album than the other two. And the difference is that like there was other artists performing on these two, really good artists that I wasn't at that level. They backed me up a ton, especially Brian Knorr on here. But this album I did 100%. All the tracks are I recorded them in my own studio, so that's what you're hearing. And yeah, the image on the front is and Mikey Heffer designed the cover. And I got him to take our town and then put the ski hill behind it with that little flame on top. That's indicating the terrible arson that happened up at Kimberley Alpine Resort. During the COVID years, somebody decided to snowmobile up the backside of the mountain and light the control hut on fire. And it disabled our main chairlift for the entire season. It was terrible. So being a songwriter and a folk artist, it's like we always we take what's happening in the times and put them to music. And so that was my version of describing what happened that night. And it's called North Star Burnin'. North Star Mountain, it used to be called North Star Mountain before it was Kimberley Alpine Resort. And the name of the quad chair is called North Star Quad. Anyway, so it was kind of a depiction. It was super sad. It was a really sad song because it was a really sad thing. But I feel like somebody needed to write it. So anyway, I wrote North Star Burnin', and then that was that ended up on the album. And it actually, I submitted right at that time. There was that Searchlight contest. I seen it come up in my newsfeed
yes.
with the CBC. I'm like, well, shoot, this is a song that that kind of resonated with a lot of people. At least the messages that came in after I released the little YouTube video, just me playing in my studio. And so I'm like, shoot, I should record that one for realsies and make a video about it. And so made a decent video with Lucas Nemeth. And and then
and didn't that become the People's Choice essentially on the CBC Searchlight?
I was so thankful for people that I submitted the song and then did like this, vote for me for it was 10 days in a row where I was like, vote for me, and people did, and I was so thankful because I won the Voters' Choice. There was 3 of us that got to win. 2 were Ontario bands, and then little old me out in the East Kootenays because everybody helped me out with some votes, and then that translated to a lot of good things happened after that. It was good, winning the prize money and stuff like that. And good shows. Yeah. So a lot of opportunities happened after North Star Burnin'.
Tell us a little bit about some of those shows that you've played.
Well, this last summer, so it was kind of COVID times when that song kind of came out. So things were opening up again after that, and let's see, Wapiti was a really great festival this last year, and
that's in Fernie.
Fernie, yeah,
right?
Fernie Wapiti Music Festival. And I've played, I don't know, just locally. I played in Revelstoke quite a bit, actually. Revelstoke, Creston, Fernie, Cranbrook, Kimberley. Right. And then the big one, which was such a letdown, but it was still really exciting to be a part of, was the Salmon Arm Roots and Blues Festival, right, which I would go to. It
got smoked out.
Got smoked out. The fires were so bad, so close by. The smoke was so thick and it was so dangerous with that many thousands of people in one area. They just decided to call it off. They did one night of it. There was a massive power outage that took out the power of 3 cities all within that same night. And so they were out of power for Friday, and then they were able to put on some music for sure. But then they canceled it the next day. So I was due to perform 3 performances, two workshops, one for a tribute to the band, and Robbie Robertson just passed away a couple weeks before. Yeah. So that would have been really meaningful. And then one for Gordon Lightfoot. And I had a bunch prepared, and then my performance day on Sunday. So that getting canceled was definitely, it was such a letdown. But I can't complain because it's my house wasn't burning down. Beggars can't be choosers. It was, it was a terrible thing for everybody. Being canceled is, whatever. Things still happen again.
So when you went out to do those performances more recently, you've obviously made some inroads into your equipment and your gear, what you like to play with, how you blend this stuff together. And we've got a few examples here of that you kind of brought out to show us. And in particular, I was really fascinated by the fact that you have really started to play the harmonica in some some serious harmonica playing. And why don't you tell us a little bit about your harmonicas? You've got this unique rig that you're wearing actually around your neck is one of them.
Yeah.
And that you were telling me about before we got started here tonight. So yeah, I'd be very interested. I think the audience would love to know a little bit about this interesting
What
stuff.
the heck is this, eh? Yeah, so when I was going to Nimble Fingers, that bluegrass camp, harmonica is kind of the ugly duckling instrument of folk music and bluegrass music. It's not really welcome there, nor is percussion instruments. So my foot drums, that came after. So I kind of pushed the harmonica aside for quite a few years. I always brought them with me, but it wasn't until I started, I'm like, man, I've seen these online. I've seen Steve Mariner had a really cool wooden rig I saw at the Caslo Jazz Fest. And I looked into it, and yeah, some companies make them. And I've had this green bullet harmonica microphone for like a decade. And I very rarely use it because my hands are, you got to hold it, and my hands are busy playing my instrument.
It kind of looks like an instrument of destruction. It's amazing, actually. But yeah, that harmonica from Shure has been around for many years, haven't they?
Yeah, it's iconic.
And everybody has used it, but you've now transitioned to a more kind of modern system, haven't
totally.
you?
So this is the vacuum cleaner attachment you use to vacuum the stairs with. It just fit perfectly to get, but it definitely didn't fit in there very good because it was like, I have zap straps here, they would cut my mouth, and always a little bit of a struggle getting it in there. And so I transitioned to this beautiful, innovative piece of technology called the Racket 2.0, made from Blows Me Away Productions out of California. And this is kind of what I was mimicking. And basically, this is called a Bulletini. This is a Bulletini microphone. So look at the size difference between the green bullet and the Bulletini, and it's got a volume control too. And these side pieces come out too, so you can even change the tone there. But the beauty of it is that the harmonica slides in like this, and then sits on the rack, which is an innovation as well, because it's just it's a magnet. So when you're changing harmonicas, like in a band scenario, and the next song's coming up, I don't want to be screwing around trying to wiggle my harmonica into my green bullet vacuum cleaner attachment thing. So the Racket 2.0 has completely changed the way I play with Alderbash. And
so you're going to demo that for us tonight,
yeah,
right?
I totally will. Yeah,
That'll be great. Okay.
Yeah.
And a couple of other things very interesting is that sitting down here on the floor, we have some beautiful wooden items here. A couple of size of cajones. Do you want to explain a little bit of cajones? Because cajones occupy a really important kind of part of your performance, don't they?
Totally, they do. So for years I was playing with, so I did a bathroom renovation at my house, and there was these old drawers that I took, and I mounted a couple microphones to the inside of them. So one had a microphone in it with nothing, and then the other one had a microphone in it with a tambourine mounted to the top of it. And I would stand on them and tap my toes to get the boom and the chuck. And that was super fun. But my dad is a very accomplished cabinet maker by trade, and he's retired. And it's like, man, we got to figure out a way to join forces, Dad. You know, he's got a great ear, but he's never been a musician. And so with his artistry and how he can, you know, build cabinets so beautifully, I'm like, Dad, can you start making cajones? And maybe I can play cajones instead of tapping my toes on a box. And so, yeah, he made me the first couple were cajones just like this, and I would bring two with me, and I kick, instead of tapping my toes, I would be tapping my heels with a kick, and the kick would hit the cajones, mounted microphones in each of them, and from there, it just kind of blossomed into a whole bunch of percussion instruments Dad makes. So makes
I love that.
So that'll go on your toe.
Right, on your
I've got
on
one
your
on
foot.
my on my kick too,
Right.
but toe tambourines. This is a Butterbox Junior, we call it, for little kids, or you could play it just on your lap, but kids can play on that. And then he makes washboards out of recycled tomato cans from the restaurant I play in quite often, Stonefire, and bottle cap tambourines too. So
I imagine people were looking at this and wondering what it is. So let's talk about this for a second.
this is I always quiz people when I'm holding this. I'm like, what do you think this is? And some people think it's like a flask or some sort of like weed smoking device, but it's actually a didgeridoo. So
Of course, originally from the Aboriginal people of Australia, right?
That's right.
And they used it for communication.
That's right, yeah. So I just use it to warm up my vocals. So I was a big fan of Xavier Rudd for a while there. And I tried, Dad actually rigged up my didgeridoo on a tripod. And I tried playing along with it. It just didn't match my style, but I still love playing the didgeridoo. And you'll see, if you come to a gig of mine, then you'll see me out the back playing this didgeridoo just to warm up my vocals, and that's what this is. Yeah.
So that might give us a good segue here to talk about what you're going to play tonight.
Yeah, well, I want to highlight all 3 instruments I play, I guess 4. So I'm going to play a bit of banjo. It's almost Halloween, so I'll play my spookiest song, Pretty Polly, and that has a cool, like these Seidel harmonicas are fabulous because the harmonica's kind of off limits in certain tunings because you're limited to the Richter scale, and so these are tuned. A couple of them are tuned special for my banjo tuning that I play in. So then I'll play a couple that show off my B flat with the easy third there, and then I'll play a little bit of blues. I'll play on the guitar, and then some folk stuff on the guitar, and show you some of the pedals that I play and reasons why I have the pedals the way they are. And then I'll play a little bit of lap steel, which has become a big part of my show now, since I don't do a lot of writing with the lap steel, which is a goal of mine, but it's always worth bringing all 3, I found, because it's just, it's a lot of work to haul stuff around, but if you don't use it, you lose it. So that's one of the reasons I'm like, I got to start learning songs start to finish with the dobro, because if I don't and I'm just playing solo, then I'll start to forget stuff. So
Well, I think everybody's looking forward to hearing some music and some explanations of your rig and stuff. So
Yeah,
I think
excited
we're
to
going to
tell you.
probably get to that, right? Shall we?
Let's do it.
North stars on fire, flames light the sky. Heartbeat of the town flickers out. Billows of smoke rise. The town sleeping below. North stars on fire, flames light the sky. Heartbeat of the town flickers out.
I'm here on the stage with Heather, Jamie Neve here. We're going to do a review, rundown of all of her equipment, and she's going to play some music for us. What do you got, Heather?
I got so much stuff, Jamie. My whole rig is it's a lot of bells and whistles, but I love bringing it all. Whenever I can go to a big plugged-in event, I'm bringing everything because, like I said before, you use it or you lose it. So to start off with, this is my Asher lap steel. This is made by Bill Asher outside of California. This is the Electro Hawaiian Junior, and this was actually on display at the NAMM show back in 2020, I believe, and it has been a wonderful instrument. I love this instrument.
That really looks like a power instrument. It's got a couple of humbuckers on it.
Yeah, totally. I almost wanted to upgrade to the Jason Lowler pickups, but I like the way these sound. So I use my lap steel when I'm playing the blues a lot. So I accompany this with my Racket 2.0 harmonica microphone.
Right, which we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So why don't we hear what you got?
Okay.
that was great. Thank you. And, part of what was happening there, obviously, is you brought those cajones into work to
Yeah.
make a really big sound. Also, you were, using an overdrive, right? And that's one of those pedals there that you were telling me a little bit about. What else will it do? Is it got other functions besides what you were just using it for?
Well, it's got this pickup. This is the Fender Acoustic Overdrive, and it is the cool thing about the Fender Acoustic Overdrive is that it's meant to be played with an acoustic instrument, and it's got a dial that you can pull back or engage a little bit more, and it'll bust the feedback on it. So it's meant for playing with a piezo style pickup.
Sure.
And like when you plug in an acoustic guitar into an amp, it just sounds terrible, right? So this like makes it easy, makes it able to be plugged into a PA with distortion, and it's pretty cool. And it works as a regular distortion pedal too for my electric instruments, so including the harmonica. And this can feedback quite a bit too. So I find that pickup compensation dial helps feedback suppression with the harmonica microphone, the Bulletini.
So what do you want to show us next?
So basically, I'll show you some of my instruments.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the Electro Hawaiian Junior made from Bill Asher Guitars in California, and I love this instrument. This has totally changed the way that I perform, leaving the dobro behind essentially, unless I'm at an acoustic jam. I'll bring this 100% of the time. So this is my lap steel. I always like to bring it along with me, even though I primarily play mostly covers when I play my lap steel, but I'm gonna be starting to do some writing with it. But whenever I go to a jam, this is my go-to instrument. So this is my lap steel.
Right.
I also have
a nice instrument and really got lots of power through those humbuckers on there.
That's
too,
right.
eh?
And this is cool too. See this? This is called the belly. What do they call it? The belly band or something like that. The belly bar.
Right.
And so this is. I had them drill these holes. You can buy this separately and drill the holes in. But this pushes it out so you can play standing up like you would with the dobro, right? Because generally lap steel is obviously on your lap,
Yeah.
and it's just way more fun to like stand up and move around. So there's only a few companies out there. I think Lap King makes something like this. Jerry Douglas uses.
And if you run it with your wireless setup, you can move
That's
around
right. Yeah,
lots.
I literally move around.
Right.
Yeah, it's when I get off my pedals, it's cool that I'm moving around, but it really brings the punch back when I stand back on the pedals and start kicking again. So yeah, I guess I should talk about introduce the band. I always introduce the band. I'm a one-woman band, so I start with my left foot. My left foot's playing the boom, I call it, and my right foot's playing the chuck. I got the boom and I got the chuck.
Right.
This is a handmade cajon by my dad Murray, who's a very accomplished cabinet maker, retired cabinet maker by trade. So before I was hauling around two cajones and miking both and then placing them, and they'd rock back and forth. It was really uncomfortable. So I'm like, Dad, can you please make me a double chambered cajon? And I got leather handles on the side, two kick drum microphone in one, and then just like kind of a basic diatonic microphone in the other one, like a Samson Q8, I believe, and then a Shure kick drum microphone in here. And then I've got one of our Butterbox Cajon foot tambourines as well on this side. But you don't hear it recorded. I have to have a microphone
Separate
to
mic
pick
port?
up
Yes, I see.
pick up stuff. So
Right, I see. Because you've got the little Sabian symbol there.
yeah, this is new.
Yeah, and this little CS 1000 or whatever here,
Yeah.
which is a condenser for recording those.
So my basic goal with my pedal board is to try to, like, it's hard being a soloist and bringing this much gear. Like, I don't bring, like, I try to bring as little as I can, but still bring every single instrument with me. So this pedal board accomplishes a whole bunch of things all at once. So I play a clawhammer banjo, an acoustic guitar, and a lap steel, and a harmonica microphone, and the kick drums. So the kick drums go generally directly into the board, and then they're EQ'd on their own. And then all three instruments will go into, this is called the Switchblade Pro, made by Electro Harmonics. And this I can plug, it's basically for either multi-instrumentalists
Or it's also a pedal used for when you click the button to make it go in series. It's for musicians that have, say, a giant pedal board and you want to engage multiple effects at the same time. And instead of doing like a tap dance and engaging three, just like not simultaneously, that's what this pedal is for. Or for a multi-instrumentalist like me, I click over into parallel, and then I can run 1, 2, 3 instruments, all with their own different gain settings, and then I can run into the rest of my pedal chain. And my pedal chain, I use my chromatic tuner, my TU3 as a buffer, and then everything else is just the based on the standard like wah, then distortion, modulation, time-based effects, that sort of thing. And then all of that will go into my RC500, which is my loop station. I don't loop every gig, like the festivals and like the 60-minute performances or the 45-minute performances. I pretty well just stick to my original songs, like cut and dry kind of thing. I'd maybe love to get there one day, but I feel like there's just not enough time. But when I'm playing like a 2.5, 3 hour long gig, I'll do some of my loop station arrangements. And so then from there, but everything stays the same. For a long time there, I was using a pedal board that things would change. I would put certain pedals on and then I'd have to coil. It was kind of a janky setup. And I would forget things or things would come unplugged. This is just so sturdy and everything. I wired it all up myself. So everything is just stays put. I don't have to worry about things coming loose, although that can still happen sometimes. But anyway, so yeah, it goes. And then I've got a wah pedal here for when I'm playing just kind of like lap steel stuff. And so I can do some like Jimi Hendrix kind of stuff with this. The Smolder Acoustic Sonnet or Acoustic Overdrive that I engage sometimes with the acoustic guitar, a couple spots where I do like single note attack stuff, but it kind of it can get a little bit muddy, I find, when you're doing like full on, like you don't use cowboy chords with it, like bar chords or is kind of all you do with it. And then that'll go into my OC5, my Boss octave pedal. And so I always find with solo acts, it can be a little bit thin. So I like to have the octave pedal engaged it doesn't sound the best with the guitar, but for the lap steel and the banjo, it thickens it out so nicely.
I mean, you don't have to push it too hard to make it kind of
That's right, yeah. There's a cool dial here that you can engage. I only have it engaging the lowest, the fattest strings, the 6 and the 5, you know, and it really fattens it up. And then I just turn it off if I'm playing with a band, because that low end is already covered by the bass player. So
I see that you also have a banjo sitting over there.
I got a banjo, Jamie.
No one's left you anything extra in a car. I did hear that once. Somebody left his banjo in the car, and he was at the mall. When he got back, there were 4 more banjos in the car.
That's a good joke, yeah. I like that one. Yeah, there's always room for banjo jokes. So this is my Maple Ridge Rickard banjo made by Bill Rickard in Aurora, Ontario. So this is an open back banjo. So there's several different types of banjos out there. Tenor banjos, the banjos with the resonator on the back, that's more bluegrass style. And you play with finger picks and do a lot of rolling. And I play clawhammer banjo. Let me just get this on for a sec. It's a little awkward. And so I do mostly downward strokes. So that means my thumb is always landing on the 5th string, as is for other, like the open or the resonator style. And then I'm always doing downward strokes with the back of my nail. So I can never grow out my nails very well. They just break, and I've got working hands, so they're always getting shredded at work and stuff. So I use this pick. Actually, it's a funny story, actually. This is called Fred Kelly picks. It's a banjo pick. And the person that told me about it is the Tim from Shred Kelly. So Shred Kelly plays Fred Kelly picks. Anyway, I always laughed when he told me that. Anyway, so
it's flipped around, like it's normally you would wear it
I
the
don't
other way
know.
around,
You can, yeah. I've tried it playing with a guitar, but yeah, it's definitely sure beats. I would glue fingernails to my fingers because I couldn't grow nails very well. I'd go to manicure places and get them to put on 2 nails, you know, and cure them and stuff like that. So I'd walk out of there with 2 nails. Everyone looked at me kind of weird. So
Anyway, I just started using this finger pick, and it was so much better. So anyway, this company, Rickard Banjos, has made I think it was a one-armed, one-legged man that had a motorcycle accident, and building banjos saved his life after his accident, and now he's got a whole company that builds beautiful banjos. And so this is my Maple Ridge.
And it's a 5-string and tuned.
Tuned in
How's it
double
tuned?
C. Yeah,
Double C.
double C. I dabble with a few tunings. I dabble with double C, mountain modal. So I'll take my C and turn it to a D, and that turns it into mountain modal or G modal tuning.
Right.
I also dabble with an F tuning. So I'll capo up and release. I usually have this 5th string capoed with my they're called rails.
Right, yeah,
Railroad
so little-
spikes.
kind of
Yeah.
little- yeah.
So I'll undo that,
piece,
and then I'm already in an F tuning. So I play with 3 different tunings, but primarily with double C.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's hear it.
Yeah, sure. Let's see what harmonica I have on, because each harmonica that I have is in relation to either a different tuning that I play in, or a whatever instrument I'm playing. So this one's a very special harmonica to me because it's tuned to my double C tuning.
Right.
It's a B flat with an easy 3rd. I think there's not a lot of banjo players out there that plays the harmonica. I've
No.
looked.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've looked. There's not a ton out there. So this is my banjo.
Polly, pretty Polly, come go with me. Polly, pretty Polly, come go with me. Before we get married, it's some pleasure to see. She jumped on behind him, away they did right. She jumped on behind him, away they did go. Over the mountains and valleys so low. They rode a little farther, and what did they spy? They rode a little bit farther, and what did they spy? But a newly dug grave and a spade lying by. You're Willie, I'm afraid of your ways. Well, Willie, I'm afraid of your way. I fear you will leave my poor body astray. Polly, pretty Polly, your guess is about right. Polly, pretty Polly, your guess is about right. I dug out your grave the best part of last night. She knelt down before him, pleading for her life. She knelt down before him, pleading for her life. Let me be a single girl if I can't be your wife. He stabbed her in the heart's blood, her heart's blood did flow. He stabbed her in the heart's blood, her heart's blood did flow. Into the grave, pretty Polly did go. He threw a little dirt over her and started for home. He threw a little dirt over her and started for home, leaving nobody there but the wild bird.
Nice to hear claw hammer banjo for
Yeah.
sure, and it's a good, nice sounding instrument for sure.
Yeah, I love this banjo. Yeah.
So maybe you can give us something a little bit more traditional by pulling out that guitar and
Yeah.
showing that to us.
Totally.
That was a really, it's really nice to hear a banjo, that's amplified well, and they're not the easiest instruments to do that with,
That's true. Yeah.
right? And particularly getting that full kind of rich sound.
Same with guitar. I never really like the sound of it going directly into like a recording interface. It needs to be mic'd. So that's where my Myrtle comes in.
Right.
In the studio, I'll use that Myrtle and not DI out into anything and just take the acoustic sound,
Straight sound, yeah.
the straight sound
yeah.
of it. But
Yeah,
in a
and
live
they're
setting,
extremely popular now, aren't they? Those
they're
microphones.
super popular. Yeah.
They make all kinds of ladies' names for these microphones. So there's
Yeah.
Edwina and Myrtle.
The Edwina, the Myrtle, the Louise.
Louise.
Yeah. Yeah, they make great acoustic microphones. They're kind of a staple. Oh, I guess I need to put in my wireless. Oh yeah, and I use a couple cheapy little wireless things. I use a really good Boss for my harmonica microphone, but like around the house and like at bar gigs and stuff like that, I'll use these little kind of Amazon specials.
Sure.
But they work really good.
work.
Like I only had one dud, and the rest have been pretty great. And I can walk around like a bar and play, and I'll sing like happy birthdays to people like right beside them. It's kind of fun. So yeah, so this guitar is my Martin SE10E. So the SE stands for the S curve. You notice that this is an asymmetrical body shape.
Yeah, right, for
So
sure.
it's not a standard like mirror image of
Right.
of the body. So that's a unique thing. The cutaway here is unique too to this guitar. So this, you see this, how there's like a bevel here, and it makes it so you can reach even higher up on the fretboard.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's marketed as like the fastest acoustic guitar, so you can play really quick. It's a good transition guitar for people that play primarily electric guitars because the action is so low, and the ability for this guitar to be adjusted is pretty phenomenal. So living in the Kootenays, the humidity is hard to regulate and stuff like that, and the really cold temperatures. I try to keep my studio at 60% humidity, and I've got a little humidity thing I put it in the sound
guitar,
hole.
for sure.
Yeah, but not the sponge. That'll draw humidity out of it apparently. So I use a different one. I can't remember.
And it's got I think it has a different bracing than many.
That's right, yeah, and it's got the cross bracing, but it also has this Sureline dovetail neck joint, which makes it the most versatile neck to be adjusted. I have to have a Martin specific luthier adjust it, but it'll last me forever no matter what climate I'm in. So that's kind of why I really wanted the SE. And then the 10, there's a 13E as well, which is the higher caliber one. I played them side by side, and I really liked the 10 better. It was a little less flashy too, like the black dot instead of like this like turquoise blue one.
Right.
And but it's
And with many guitars, including Martin, they make guitars with different shaped necks, right, as well.
yeah.
So, C necks and what they call a V neck, which is kind of interesting, but
Yeah, I don't like those V-necks. I like a nice narrow neck. I got a small lady hands, so it needs to be really comfortable. But yeah, this is it's Koa. It's a Sitka spruce top, Koa veneer, back and sides with a mahogany core, and a matrix pickup inside it with it. It's got a tone, roll off the tone knob, and a volume control in there. I love it. I love it for live.
Awesome.
So it's been a great guitar. I've played nothing but like junk acoustic guitars for a really long time. So after Searchlight, I used my gift certificate to put towards upgrading my pedal board,
right.
just the frame of it. The Pedal Train Classic 2 is the frame that the pedal board sits on.
It has the power supply
And the power
built in.
supply, yeah, I've got a True Tone. We'll do like we'll show the underneath of it too, the guts of it. But it's the True Tone 12 is my power supply. And everything comes out of this radial J48
stereo DI box too. So let's see, I need a pick. There you are. So when I switch instruments, I generally have to change just a couple things, but for the most part, like it's really just this I have to change a little bit. Not sure, just make sure my levels. And the octave pedal just doesn't sound super good to me. And when
It's how
too
much you
fat.
put in.
Yeah,
Right, I think, yeah. Depending on what you're playing.
yeah. And this room has got a lot of bass in it to begin with. That sub is wonderful.
Sure.
But let's see, I'll turn off so this Switchblade Pro, I can turn off my harmonica microphone. So I can keep it on, but not have to worry about it picking up all the sound and stuff like that. So for a song that I'm not playing the harmonica, I'll turn it off completely. But let's do like a little, like a time where I would use my Smolder acoustic box here for my acoustic guitar would be something like this.
It's your average night, streets are lit up bright, neons buzzing like a bee. The sounds in the rooms beeping and blaring tunes. Booze is flowing like a spring stream. And it's an adult playground and everybody's got the game face. Oh, ooh, yeah. Well, she walks into a crowded room with her head held high. Yeah, she slams the door. Everyone turns to see she's beautiful. What a sight. Recipe, but she's got something cooking tonight. Well, she takes a seat, chips up her money, posts her blind with a smile. Yeah, she's acting cool, has to refresh the rules, and now that bats her eyes. Well, she asks if it's her turn, but she knows that it's her turn. She's got some tricks up her sleeve. She's not afraid to be mean. She's a black queen.
That really shows that guitar's capacity, particularly working up the neck. That was great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a fast guitar. A lot of these
Yeah.
old songs that we recorded a long time ago, to keep the same shapes, I'm capoing up like 3 steps and having to play up there because
Yeah.
rather than rewrite the song into different chord shapes and stuff like that, it's just easier to throw the capo on.
Yeah, and those are good shapes.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah, really.
That's it. So like, I'll generally be clean, except for like a song like that.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but this guitar can also do really pretty things too. I love using a partial capo. I think
Got one?
you have one of these, hey?
Yeah, I sure do.
Did you make your own or did you buy it?
The first one I made,
Yeah.
and I was able to buy another one. But I've also used it when you can flip it over,
Yeah, yeah.
depending on the shape of your guitar,
Right.
and just use the back side. And so
Right.
then you have just the 3 strings
Yeah.
covered.
You know what? Have you ever played bottleneck slide with a partial capo?
No.
I can't find anything out there. I've been messing around. It'd be cool to do that because I'm dabbling a bit with bottleneck, but
Sure.
the idea of carrying another instrument in another tuning is just no thanks. So here's I'll throw on this Keeley Hydra here,
I get nice and full. There we go. Sparkly. Really trippy sounding. Little shimmer on it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Let's grab a low E. So I didn't know what to call this, so I'm calling it partial creak because it's a partial capo. So it can be super pretty too.
Rings really true. You
Yeah.
know, it's you've got that really rich sound without sacrificing the crisp top. You know, got that nice, very nice.
And then the same tuning can be the like can get really dirty and grungy too.
Sure, yeah.
That's where the I'd throw on a E, F, G, A, throw on my A. You could do like a trying to shorten everything.
matchbook and some gasoline. Gasoline. The world's divided into right and left, and the bystanders and the anarchists. No angels left here to stand on guard while evil rips through the faint of heart. Through the faint of heart. Mountain is burning through the wind and the snow. Hidden billows of smoke rise, the town sleeping below. Oh, North Star is burning, flames light up the sky. Heartbeat of the town flickers out by the pale moonlight. Snowcat climbs gonna ease our pain while the arsonist hasn't got a name. But right about on a rail, he can take his turn, set fire to his house, and he can watch it burn, it burn. He can watch it burn, burn. And he can watch it burn. North Star is burning through the wind and the snow. Hidden billows of smoke rise, the town sleeping below. Oh, North Star's on fire, flames light the sky. Heartbeat of the town flickers out by the pale moonlight. North Star is burning through the wind and the snow. Hidden billows of smoke rise, the town sleeping below. Oh, oh, North Star's on fire, flames light the sky. Heartbeat of the town flickers out by the pale moonlight. Your heartbeat of the town flickers out by the pale moonlight. Heartbeat of the town flickers out by the pale moonlight.
That's a hell of a song.
Thanks, man.
You know,
Partial capo.
that's a great song.
I had to rewrite it because of this partial capo, because I was tuning to Dadgad every time and it
Oh, okay.
sucked.
Right? Well, no, that sounds good that way for sure. And of course, to me, that's a very moving song because the first time I went on that ski hill, I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And when that happened, I was very upset about it.
It's
And,
devastating.
and the song really captures that.
Yeah.
Really captures that devastation and what it did to so many people, you know. And anyway, so, and I think that you've kind of followed it up with something new.
That's
haven't
right,
you?
yeah. My bandmate, Ryan Peterson of Walderbach,
Yeah.
he's like, Heather, you gotta write a follow-up song to North Star Burnin'.
Right.
Now that the chair is fixed, and call it North Star Turnin'.
Yeah.
So I wrote it like a weekend. It's like, that's such a great idea. So, because the chair is fixed, took a whole year for him to fix it.
Yep.
And in Kimberley Alpine Resort, we do a lot of sun pitting,
Sure.
hanging out on the little side spots, you know, and having a few beers and whatever.
The bald spot. I think
Yeah,
is
the
one of
bald
places,
spots and
right?
stuff, yeah, and the sun hits just nice. So this is kind of like a tribute song to all of the fun that we have in the sun pits and just the joy of spring skiing. And it's called North Star Turnin'. So I reference the fire, but in a fun and silly way, if you can. You know, it's such a terrible, terrible thing. How do you bring it up without, you know?
Well, it's kind of a renewal, right? So.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just run through the whole thing, I guess.
Sun's rising up in this mountain town. 600 volts humming through the ground. I got the first tracks of the day, I'll tell you what is worth the wait. 'Cause North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. It's a bluebird day, it's a bluebird day. Only thing up here been burning on my legs. Oh, before the day is done, we'll ride the twilight setting sun. 'Cause North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. Whiskey Jack had been buzzing around my head. Sun's beating down, my cheeks are red. Not a cloud up in the sky will hit the stem winder tonight. 'Cause North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. It's a bluebird day, it's a bluebird day. Only smoke up in the air's from this blue day. Oh, before the day is done, we'll ride the twilight setting sun. 'Cause North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. Red plates rolling in everywhere. They're choking up the lines to every chair. It don't matter 'cause heartbeat of this town is pulsing round and around. Yeah, North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. It's a bluebird day, it's a bluebird day. Only fireballs on the mountains, my whiskey drink. Oh, before the day is done, we'll ride the twilight setting sun. 'Cause North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day. It's a bluebird day, it's a bluebird day. Oh, ain't no such thing as friends on a powder day. Oh, before the day is done, I'm on a poacher powder run. 'Cause North Star's turning, it's a bluebird. Smile, you're on camera, it's a bluebird. North Star's turning, it's a bluebird day.
Wow. That was very good, really great.
You actually taught me hybrid picking, which I incorporated into that song.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, everybody, that's been fantastic. Really great to have a look at the rig, all the different items that are part of Heather's show. Thank you very much for the performance. It was really excellent.
My
Just
pleasure.
looking forward to what happens next in your career. So thanks again, and everybody stay tuned because we'll be back again with another show very soon.